Yes, people, we are back in the building once again. United State of Mind continues to roll on with some more content. And this time we're going to be speaking about Christopher Vivell. He has been appointed as Manchester United's new head or full-time head of recruitment for the club after an interim spell in the summertime. So I wanted to just kind of talk about that in its entirety, what we're going to see from that in the future. But then we're also going to take a step back as well and look at his career, check out his credentials, and then try and figure out how those things marry together to where we're going to be going in the future. But before we do anything, people, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button as well. If you're new, hit the notification bell and all that good stuff right there. Let's get into the video. So Vivell has been appointed as the full-time head of recruitment for Manchester United, as reported by David Ornstein just yesterday. He was in an interim spell or an interim role in the summertime, so obviously he's impressed the Ineos hierarchy to give him this full-time role. He's got a multi-year contract on a reduced salary, obviously keeping in mind with the fact that we have some cost-cutting measures that are currently being undertaken at the club. Now, obviously, he's going to oversee the club's global recruitment alongside the technical director and Jason Wilcox. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it looks like they have a very good working relationship right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that now develops with a full-time role for Vivell. But I wanted to go into who is Christopher Vivell, because obviously a lot of people may not know about him if you haven't done your research already. I'm going to give you a short breakdown right now. So obviously he was born in December 15th, 1986 in Karlsruhe, Germany. He had a short playing career that spanned about 10 years, but was cut short due to injuries, playing for a various number of clubs. But from that point, he took on a number of various roles. So we begin off at Hoffenheim, where he was an analyst and a scout. Then he was part of the RB group, which, so that's Salzburg and Leipzig, where he was head of scouting and a technical director as well. And he kind of oversaw a lot of recruitment from Salzburg to Leipzig and development of young players throughout his time. And then he had a short spell at Chelsea, which a lot of people tend not to highlight, from about a few years ago, where he was a technical director there as well, as they were kind of restructuring things on that side of things. But let's look at some of the players that he was able to kind of get into. He had a key role in signing. So Dominic Szoboszlai, who is now obviously at Liverpool. Obviously, the big one is Erling Haaland, someone that he discovered quite early and was able to bring him into Salzburg and then eventually into the Dortmund system and now at Manchester City. Karim Adeyemi, Noah Okafor, and then obviously Benjamin Sesko, who's one of the hottest properties in the number 9 position right now. And this was all during his time at Salzburg. Now, when you kind of look at what's going on at Manchester United, some of the things, and we're now looking towards the future, some of the things are kind of taking shape already. Right, at United, he's already had a key role in bringing in a few players such as Sekou Kone, Pedro Leon, who's obviously that was some connection with Wilcox and some of the scouting that was going on. Aiden Heaven from Arsenal, Chido Obi also from Arsenal, and then Patrick Dogu as well from Lecce. Like, there's been some involvement from himself in regards to recruiting these players. And all of these players are between the ages of 17 and 20. So it kind of bodes well for the future and kind of tells you the direction that United are going in. Now, this is a very interesting point that I'm going to make here. When you look at the ages of these signings, I think it's quite far-fetched for United fans to think that we're going to go out there and spend the kind of money that we spend in the last few years on certain players. And especially when we're looking at the ages of these players. You know, we're on a different timeline when we're looking at the future of the club. We can't go out there and sign a 26 or 27-year-old who's now beginning or entering the prime of their career and then pair them with young players with the expectation that we're going to go and win something or win something major. It's probably not going to happen. So you're going to be wasting money and somebody else's career because you have misalignment in the timelines of what you want to do. And it's important in sports in general, team sports. If you don't have your timelines aligned between players and your recruitment of players and things of that nature, you can find disaster a lot of the time. You see it all the time in football, you see it all the time in basketball. Like, it's one of those things where you have to get the recruitment right in terms of timelines, allow a young group to come together and grow together instead of having a young player over here and a bunch of old players over here, nothing really in between. You're wasting the older players kind of later stages of their career, and the younger players are kind of in a bit of a mess because there's too much pressure on their shoulders to be able to meet this expectation of players within their peak. So that's going to be interesting to see how they manage that. I feel like we're heading in the right direction. You're phasing out higher earners, but you're also phasing out maybe some older players who are high earners. And then you're going to try and get that young competitive spirit within a young squad and then grow them together with a young manager. That is where United are really, really heading in that direction. That's what I can see. And obviously, Vivell's going to be at the center point of all of that squad building, especially with his time at Leipzig, where he was a part of squad planning as well. And that's a key thing. We haven't had that direction, because now you look at the squad. There are some older players. There are some younger players. There's a little bit of filler in between, but it's not a truly aligned timeline in terms of this squad. So we'll hope to see that be aligned a bit more over the next few years. Another key point here, and probably my final point on Vivell's appointment, is that we will hope to uncover some more gems in the transfer market and resolve some of the recruitment issues that have plagued the club over the last 20 years, maybe. No, maybe not 20 years, maybe let's say 10 years, where we've gone out there and we've probably signed some of the most obvious ones, or we've signed some good players and just haven't had the right environment to help them thrive and grow those players' talents. Some of these unknown signings, obviously the second Kone one kind of threw everyone. It was kind of a left field one. The Pedro Leon one was also a left field one, which nobody was really expecting to sign these players, and they've now joined the club in different capacities, right? And now you bring them into your system, you kind of continue to develop and work on them, and then eventually they'll get their opportunity, right? So this is what we want to see more from Manchester United, going for these kind of unknown signings, not allowing them to kind of go to a Brighton or to a West Ham or a Palace or something like that, where they'll be there and then a big club comes in and swoops them. Like, at the end of the day, this is one thing I've been asking from Manchester United for a long time, is to take risk in signing young players. There's no shame in taking a risk on a young player, because all else fails, right? You can sell them on for a decent fee. You probably paid a nominal fee to bring them in. You can sell them on for a decent fee afterwards. Like, taking that risk and then giving them that opportunity is probably the most important thing. And that's what I want to see from Manchester United, to be honest with you. And hopefully, with Vivell as part of this with his new role, full-time role in charge, we'll be able to see that moving forward. But look, people, it was a quick one, but I just wanted to just give some light on Christopher Vivell, and hopefully he can do well in his new role. But we'll be back, people, with more content, so make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribe button as well. If you're new, hit the notification bell. We are out, people. Peace.